everyone. Welcome to the Smart Designer Podcast. I'm Becky, and in case you don't know me, I'm into everything related to e-design, hybrid work, technology, smart home trends, and anything to do with working smarter, not harder. Which brings me to welcoming this week's guest, Tamara Romeo. Is that how you pronounce it, Tamara?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you got it. You got it perfectly right. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, thank you. Um, So you have a list of really impressive credentials and an amazing background. Not only have you started your own interior design firm, but you also collaborated with large international companies as well. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you do and how you got started?
Sure. Let's see. I'm going to go in the Wayback Machine a little bit because I've been in business now 12 years. And I specialize in office design. The name of my business is exactly what I do. It's San Diego Office Design. And you can see I really niched my specialty with my name and really focused on that one particular group. We're here in San Diego, as the name says, and we've worked with clients that span CEOs of their own companies to large corporations that have headquarters and locations all around the country and the world. And generally, the reason people reach out to me and my company is because of a specialty that we have. And that specialty is helping clients to get very culturally connected within their design and to really express their brand in a positive and powerful way within their interiors. Beyond just space planning and picking pretty furniture and nice artwork and making the space look good, we actually want to make sure that it functions to attract and retain valuable staff for my clients, and that they can shift their business layouts and functions as needed by shifting their interior. So we really work on modular, movable solutions as well. So I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Along the way, I also started a brand called Design Boss, which is really my avatar. It's kind of like what I'm known as at work. And as we went through the recent pandemic with COVID, we've diversified. So instead of just doing office design, we now do multifamily, which is like large luxury apartment complexes and high rises for condominiums. We do student housing because we have a lot of universities here in San Diego. We do active senior living communities. So those are the ones where they don't take a lot of medical care. We don't really do a lot of medical design in my office. And really, we also do residential. Almost forgot that one. Truly, we specialize in taking the looks and feels that people might be inspired by when they're out on vacation at a luxury hotel, or at dinner at a beautiful restaurant. They may see something that really sparks inspiration for them, like, wow, I'd love to have something like this at home, or I'd love to have this in the building that I own. And so they will call somebody like me to be able to take that look and make it become a reality in their space, because we're used to working on big spaces, so we can take big ideas and translate them from a home all the way up to large spaces, 50, 60, 70,000 square feet.
Wow, that is quite impressive work, and you're very unique in that you have your own niche and you collaborate really well, staying true to your niche. And wow, that's very impressive. But what made you start your own business, and what prompted you to make that major life change?
Oh gosh. Okay, so this is a story in itself. I could do a whole podcast just on this. So I like to call what happened to me a power pivot. And basically, I'm going to take us back again. It was 12 years ago, so it was around 2010 when I actually started the company. But the idea for the company and kind of the mind shift that I was going through started in about 2008, 2009. And you're too young to remember this, but there was a big financial change in the markets and with technology in about 2008, where a lot of people were losing money in the stock market. The real estate market was starting to take a dive, and people were panicking, and the internet was just starting to boom, right? We had new companies like Facebook and Zappos and all of these tech-driven companies really coming to the forefront, and that was just starting to happen. Well, at the same time, I worked at a magazine where I was doing advertising and marketing for my clientele all across San Diego and across the country, but mostly focused here regionally. And I was working with car dealerships and dental offices and movie theaters and hotels, and anybody that needed to express their brand. Oh, I dropped my earpiece. Hold on just a second.
That happens to me a lot.
Anybody that needed to express their brand and get new people in the door. And so I did that. That was like my first career. I did that for 12 years. And I really became a branding specialist during that time. And also, right around 2007, 2008, the print advertising world where I was working started to take a shift down because everybody was starting to advertise online, right, on the internet, and they were shifting their financial investment from print advertising to website or web advertising. And so I was trying to figure out an exit strategy from this career that I had built all these years to do something new. And I actually took a step away from that career and I didn't work for about 2 years. And during that time, I just had time to think about a few questions that were really important. And I literally asked myself these 3 questions, which I think are really important. What am I uniquely talented in? What can I do that other people might need? The second question was, what problems in the market need solving right now that I might be able to use my talents to help solve? And the third one was, now how do I stitch these 2 ideas together? How do I take my background and how do I really start to develop something that's a unique offering that I can really bring to the marketplace? And what I knew from my 12 years of being in advertising was that business owners were really good at talking about what made them unique or what they wanted to sell or what made their products the best on the market. But they really lacked focus in how to bring that same energy and feeling into their environment. So oftentimes I'd walk into a dentist office and it would just feel like really medical and boring, like sterile, right? And there was nothing that would make you connect with who the doctor was or what made his practice unique, or a feeling of comfort and safety, which a lot of people need when they're going to the dentist. And so I knew after talking to hundreds of businesses over the years that they all, probably 95% of them, suffered from the same problem, that they didn't know how to tell the story of who they were and what they offered, what made their brand unique inside their spaces, so that their employees understood what made them unique in the marketplace. Their customers would feel that they were getting something unique and that they were doing business with someone that was, say, an expert in their category. So I felt like, okay, I knew that that was a problem, that people were missing that. And I also knew that the first answer to the question was that I was uniquely gifted with 12 years of experience in telling that story, being able to weave the visual brand into a picture, right? And so I thought, you know what? I think that I can build a business around helping business owners become more well branded in their interior space and attract really high value staff at the same time. And so that was the idea. Now, there was no cool Google or Facebook offices yet, right? That was still pre all the pictures of the cool techie offices. So when I told my friends about my idea, they thought I was crazy. I can't tell you how often I heard, "What are you doing? It's a recession. You don't even know about interior design. What do you think you're doing?" And I said, "Well, you know what? I know people and I know business owners and I know branding. So all I need to do is hire really talented experts in interior design to help build my vision along with me. I don't have to do it all myself. I just have to find the right people that believe in my idea and move it forward from there." So that's how my business started.
Wow. That's impressive as well, how you got started and your drive to fulfill that need and the work it took to get started. That um is very inspirational. I guess what would be the most challenging part of starting that
Wow.
and the most fulfilling too?
Well, as I mentioned, I had a degree and an experience in selling and in advertising and in branding, um, but I didn't have any experience in starting a business, building a business, or any technical interior design skills. Right, so I knew that I had to partner with someone who had some of those skills to help me, that I could do all the front facing part of the business. I could sell and I could talk to business owners about what they needed, but that I would need to find a very talented designer to work along with me. Um, and luckily, I found a wonderfully talented designer who was a little bit older, right out of school, but it was also his second career. And he hated selling and he didn't want to have to talk to clients. He just wanted to do design. And so we were an amazing fit because I had all the other skills, right? That I could be the front of the business and talk to the clients and help them build the vision and solve the problems, create the opportunities for both their business to grow and my business to succeed. So that was a really big step for me, finding that right person to help me be able to do what I wanted to do. Um, and then I also had to learn a lot about just the lingo of interior design. And so I literally went to San Diego State, which is where I graduated from, and I purchased every single book on interior design from the bookstore. I spent thousands of dollars, and I basically just dove into studying. I already had my first client when this happened, so my my opportunity presented itself before I was ready, right? I said, I'm going to do this business. I got the business name, and boom, I got a client. And I was like, oh my God, okay, I said I wanted to do it. Now here's the opportunity. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I said yes. And then I just kept learning along the way. And I kept depending on really talented people to support the business as well. So that was really big for me. I think, I also mentioned becoming your own boss and leading a team is challenging because you don't learn how to do that in school, right? At the time, there was no course on, hey, how to be an entrepreneur and how to hire great people or how to inspire people. Like that just wasn't a thing back then. And there was no like YouTube videos to learn how to do it. And so I was on my own, and literally I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I think that's how you learn quickly is you scrape your knees a few times, and you make some painful mistakes, but then you learn to never make those again. And so I just really wasn't afraid of trying. I kept wanting to be better. I kept wanting to progress. And so I literally studied harder, worked harder. I put my nose to the grindstone. I really was committed, and I was super passionate about my idea because I believed more than anyone that I could make this work because I really felt like there was this huge need in the marketplace. And to me, the fact that I had a client when I first started that showed up and was ready to pay me was proof that it was the right idea. So then it was up to me just not quit, right? To just keep moving forward. To when I made the mistakes, to not curl up in a ball and cry myself to sleep.
I
To
get
take a
yourself back up.
moment, right? Take a moment, regroup, learn from my mistakes, and keep on going. And truly, I think that's what makes great leaders is that they're not afraid to make mistakes, learn, and keep on going, and then imparting that knowledge to the team as they grow, giving a hand back to those that are coming up so that they can maybe skip over some of the mistakes that we made along the way, take the fast track to success. Um, so absolutely, I would say that, being willing to work the longest, the hardest, to continually learn along the way, to constantly be focused on becoming better, both personally and professionally, was really big for me. There's a concept called Kaizen, and Kaizen is a Japanese term which means change for the better or continuous improvement. And so I literally wrote that a huge banner and put it up in front of my desk in my office. And it was just a reminder to me that this was a long-term journey. It wasn't like a quick thing. I wasn't expecting to be rich overnight, that I truly wanted to do something that mattered to the world, and it was going to take my time to figure out how to do it.
Wow. So would you say it was very fulfilling then with your first client? Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like how
It
it
was
went?
challenging. He believed in me more than I believed in myself. So I was playing a little bit of catch up. I had that thing that they talk about in business called imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome is where you've also heard that thing, fake it till you make it. That's really the mode that I was in then, that I believed I could do it, but I wasn't sure I could do it. And so you definitely keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you hope to God you don't make a mistake big enough that's gonna like damage your client or yourself. And luckily that didn't happen. And that first client stuck with me for over 2 years. He kept calling me back for different jobs and to help him as his company grew. And he believed in me. And so it helped me to believe in myself. And he saw me growing as I was working with him. And so he was kind enough to give me positive feedback and let me know that, which helped me a lot, to get over that imposter syndrome that I mentioned.
I hope that there's some information maybe you could share. I hope that it's not confidential. Sometimes projects are confidential and you can't share them for that confidentiality, with you between you and the client. But was it an office or what kind
Yes,
of
yeah.
project?
So it was an office, and I actually am also certified in something called feng shui, which is a Chinese art of balance and energy, and it's just as really at its basic level, it's about making spaces feel great and be as productive and opportunistic as possible. And so he happened to have a partner that was Chinese. And he wanted to make sure that his office not only looked good, that it functioned well, but it had the best feng shui possible. And because I had that unique um, background, he really liked the fact that I was, that I could bring a lot to the table for that. Well, so I did his first office, and then as his company grew, he actually moved from, I think he was probably in 2,000 square feet the first time that he hired me. He moved up to a 7,000 square foot office in a big high rise in this very fancy part of San Diego. And he called me back and said, okay, I need full construction documents. I need all brand new furniture, and I need you to make sure it's all great feng shui. And so this huge opportunity landed in my lap, and that was wonderful. But once again, I thought, uh-oh, this is scary, right? So a lot of opportunity to misstep. Luckily, everything for the most part went really well. I mean, in design, there's always surprises and hiccups and things that you have to solve. But he told me something really important. And I think the biggest thing that I learned from him was to find ways to say yes to your clients. Because as often as designers, we say things like, oh no, we can't do that. No, 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 that's not going to work. You need to look at this. Or, oh gosh, that's, no, let me show you this over here. This would look so much better. So he said, Tamara, if you find a way to make me feel like I had a great idea, but you're just improving on it, or you can show me something that makes me feel like a winner, and validates me, I'll probably spend much more money on it. And I was like, wow, how come I didn't know that? Right? So that helped a lot, and something that I teach my staff to do for our clients now is find ways to say yes and make our clients feel like they really are contributing, because they are, right? It's their space.
It sounds like you really help your clients with your business, but is there any other way um, that maybe you help your clients with their business or through your business that maybe you haven't talked about yet?
Well, luckily, because we've had a chance to really network with some um, amazing business owners as well as work for great business owners, it allows us to get involved in ways to give back to the community. So um, there are a few different things that I do as a business owner. But before I go into that, I wanted to tell you about the 5 types of people that you definitely want to have in your circle as a business owner, because this will help young designers, and really it helps anybody, to make sure that they're aligning with people who help them move up in their career. So those 5 types of people that you want in your circle are the inspired, the passionate, the motivated, the grateful, and the open-minded.
Mm.
Those are truly the people that are going to keep, helping you to move up in your career. And I think um, when you surround yourself with those kinds of people, opportunities appear to not only do great work, but also to give back. And so some of the things that we do is that we give back in charitable ways. I was um, the head of the Entrepreneurship Center for San Diego State University for a few years, where I was chairwoman of the board, and that was really fulfilling for me to be able to impart some of the things that I wish I would have known as a business owner. Most of the students were business related, so there really weren't any design students there. And what I feel as a designer is that you often don't learn business skills and sales skills in design school. They don't really spend a lot of time in teaching you how to reach out to your clients, to your network, how to market your business. And that's so pivotal to be able to be successful. You have to be found by the people that need you. And so I actually started a Facebook group that's free, that helps designers and anybody that's creative to really develop a system for attracting new clients. And it's called the Interior Designers Client Attraction Network. And the letters actually spell I can. And so it's truly my way of just giving back to my community, giving a hand back to people that are struggling with something that I'm naturally good at and I've become better at over the years. So it's just a free group. Anybody can join that's supportive of a creative career and trying to learn something. And I do, free giveaways. I do Facebook Lives teaching how to market yourself and how to stand out, and how to network. Because one of the other ways that I spend a lot of time with my network is on a platform called LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, I think everybody knows it by now, but
Yep.
oftentimes designers think LinkedIn really doesn't apply to them. They're much more into Instagram, Facebook, and I would say that over the last 2 to 3 years, dedicated quite a bit of time to LinkedIn. It is the platform that I spend the most time on, and I would say at least an hour or two a day that I dedicate to creating content, to talking to my network, to supporting other people on LinkedIn, and that has truly paid off because my network is over 7,000 large now, which is pretty big
Yeah.
for LinkedIn, and people actually have hired me because of my presence on LinkedIn, because I'm helpful, positive. I share a lot of what we have worked on, and I try to impart knowledge and inspiration through my posts. And so I truly feel that that's been really, really powerful as well. So I'm a big one for giving back, both in my free time, in my social networks, and of course my business gives to several charities every year. Most of them are female, women related, because design is heavily focused on women, and there's a lot of women in the industry. I happen to have a office full of women, and so that just happens to be what I feel connected to. So we definitely always annually make sure that we are donating to those charities as well.
Um, I think I saw on your website that you've done some large audience like speaking. You spoke in front of a large audience with some of the
Yeah,
things that you do. Can you
yeah.
tell me a little bit more about that?
That was for San Diego State University, and they were doing a women in entrepreneurship and leadership full day, um, I guess like a seminar that was available for anyone, but mostly for students. And we were expecting, I don't know, 300 or 400, and we had like 700 people come to the campus for that full day event. It was a raging success. And I have been on that panel. We've done it a few years now. And I've been on that panel a couple of times. Once was as a participant with other female business owners, talking a lot about what you and I are talking about today. How did you get your start, and how did you overcome some of the challenges of business, and also I talk a lot about the moment that inspired me to feel that I was strong enough to leave my career in advertising and to come over and start this whole new business, which is a whole another story. But there was a moment where I had this flash of inspiration, and I felt like I cannot leave this life without feeling like I've tried everything that I really want to try. And just in a nutshell, what inspired that quick little nugget was I saw these women, these young women, riding horses, in the crop pants and the shiny black boots and the little black hat, and they looked so elegant and beautiful. They were, riding their horses across the street in this suburban area in San Diego. And my heart sort of sank because I watched them ride across the street and thought, oh, I wish I would have done that. Maybe I'm too old. I'll never get to do that. And as they finished walking by and I continued to drive my car on for, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes, I saw a sign that was a big billboard that said, would you like to try horseback riding? And I thought, oh my God, someone is speaking to me. Like, I just pulled my car over and thought, no more wishing I would have done something. From this day forward, I'm making a commitment to myself to say yes to opportunities. And I literally started riding a horse that day. And from that day forward, I had a commitment to myself to saying yes to opportunities. Now, the story's much longer, but that's my bite-sized chunk of sort of the talk that I give or have given when I've been in front of larger audiences. That inspirational moment where you have an opportunity to change your life.
That is so inspirational. I'm very inspired by you, and I'm sure whoever is listening today is very inspired by that as well. Um, I kind of am just going to skip over this next question. Um, so I guess the next question after that would be, um, what would you say about how you achieve the podcast motto, which is working smarter and not harder? How do you work smarter in your business?
Um, I am a fan of technology. So I utilize a lot of the latest and the greatest tools, apps, um, all kinds of things to speed up our processes that we repeat over and over again in this business. And there's so many great apps out there these days, and I'm lucky in that after 12 years I have this broad network of business owners from all different industries, right? And so we talk a lot about amongst each other about what works for our businesses. So I'm able to take little pieces from my friend who owns, you know, a marketing agency and a fashion designer and a lawyer and, you know, all these different industries, and here, okay, if that works for them, why can't I try it over here? Just because it's not an interior designer app doesn't mean it won't work for me. And so I've really come up with four things that I'm going to recommend in terms of apps or technology that I think your audience should look into. The first one would have scared me as a new designer because of the cost, but it's so worth it that I'm gonna talk to you about it anyway. It's called Basecamp, and Basecamp is a project management portal that allows you to manage several projects all at once. And as you can imagine, we have really big projects with a lot of decision makers, many designers working on them at the same time. And so making sure that we're all on the same page, talking about the same thing, and we're not losing track of who said what to who in this email and that text message and blah, blah, blah. Basecamp keeps it all in one handy place, and it's just been wonderful. It's $99 a month, and I'm not getting anything from Basecamp by telling you about this, by the way. I just love it. So that's my number one. The second one is a designer tool that we use called Studio Designer. This is something that really helps us integrate, you know, money and tracking and expediting items, because we're also a furniture dealership, not just a design firm. So we do interior design, but we also sell all the products that we recommend to our clients. And so in order to do that correctly and make enough money to actually make a profit, you have to know exactly how you're doing. And Studio Designer is a great tool for that. Number three is we use a time tracking tool called Clockify. And that helps us to be able to estimate not only how much time we will be using on a project, but to look back and see what are the things that's taking the most time and where can we improve. Back to that, remember that idea that I said, Kaizen, about continuous improvement? Time tracking really helps with that as a designer. And then finally, I am a big fan of everything Google. So we have Google Chat, Google Mail, Google Meet, Google Drive, and Google Voice. We really use it all. And it helps really. I get my whole team on it, and we are chatting all day long. From even though we're in the same office, most of us. I mean, I do have some employees that don't work here, but we're constantly chitter chattering to each other, like, "Oh my God, look at this great lamp!" and "Oh, I love it. How about this?" You know, we're sharing inspiration and ideas and setting up meetings, and we're just constantly in each other's mix all day long and communicating. So those are the things that I do that really help me work smarter. I also invest in people on my team that are actually better at what they do than me. So I think as a leader, that's really important to hire people that excel in the things that they're great at, and then let them do it. And so I I really trust in the people that I hire, that they're wonderful in their skill set, and whether it be 3D rendering or you know um, design or whatever. There's always a million things, expediting, whatever their skill set is. I hire them to do that plus many other things so that I can focus on the business of the business. Because for me, making sure that we're profitable, making sure that everybody's happy here, talking to the clients, getting new clients, that's all a full-time job for me. So if I also had to do every part of design along with that, not only could I not do it, but I'd never be able to run my business. So hiring great people has been, and investing in them with ongoing training and just making sure that we're all constantly improving has really been important for me. And then I would say, I wish I would have asked for help sooner in my business. I think I tried to do a lot of it myself. Like I said, I went and got all those textbooks and I just ravenously read every single thing about design. I did hire somebody who was a great designer, but I should have looked for a mentor in this industry, or a coach, someone that I would have paid for their expertise and time, that would have helped me leapfrog over a lot of trying to figure it out on my own. I mean, just trying to write a contract and a scope of work took me years to really nail that down. And so if I would have invested earlier, I think I would have been farther along in my career faster. So then finally, I want to say one last thing about something that I started with you, which is making sure that you pick a niche for your business to specialize in. So many designers say they do it all. Oh, you want me to design your barn? I can do that. Oh, okay. You want a jet interior design? Okay. A boat? Yes. Whatever it is, they want to be able to do it all, and they probably can figure it out. But I think it's really valuable to pick something that you want to be known as an expert in, and then make sure that you not only continue to learn and grow in that field, but market yourself like crazy as someone who is really passionate about that field, and then keep giving back to the people that are interested in that. Keep educating them, keep talking about it, keep sharing your work, and you'll soon get known for becoming an expert. I mean, they don't call me the design boss for nothing. It's because I literally have put myself out there and shared so much with people that, they know me now. And so it becomes like second nature. If they need design, especially for an office, who are they going to call? It's usually, at least they'll pick up the phone and give me an opportunity.
Kind of point in the screen, but they'll probably find you.
I hope so.
They're looking for
Yeah.
office design.
Yeah, I hope so. And now, we're trying to diversify and grow, and so I'm actually expanding my niche, right? I'm going the opposite way that most people go. Most people start with like, oh yeah, we can do it all, and then they may niche down as they get more and more experience into being a specialist at something, a particular look or a particular function. Whereas I've gone from being a real specialist, and now I'm expanding into a whole bunch of other fields. So, so that's interesting too, because it's just a different way to approach the business model.
Speaking of marketing, how would you say you started marketing yourself, and how would you say that kind of evolved over time?
Um, I started marketing myself from day one before I before I even had the business going. I knew that I was facing some challenges as someone who was approaching this business from a totally different aspect, right? I didn't go to design school. I came from branding, marketing, and advertising, and I knew that I had a big bridge to cross in order to gain the knowledge, the expertise, and the clientele to be able to do the business. And so I really used what I was good at. I talked a lot about branding. I shared the fact that I was from a unique background, that I was in advertising and marketing, and that I knew a lot about business and sales. And I think that I continually used my uniqueness as a benefit. So instead of saying, oh, yeah, I didn't go to design school, so I can't be a designer, I said, well, I have a lot of talent in this space. I'm very visually oriented because I've had 12 years of experience in advertising, and I'm a branding specialist trusted by, that, like all these brands. And so business owners believed in that, and that made sense to them. And I would say, it's not that I do everything. I have some really talented people that help me along the way to create your vision and help you fulfill your goals in this project. And so you don't always have to call me. There's, these other people over here helping me as well. It's all about the team. And people appreciated that approach. So start with what you know. For me, it was my background. And also, remember, I said I was qualified as a feng shui consultant, and I already had a little business going as a feng shui provider. And so I use that as a springboard because there's plenty of people who really love the idea of creating an environment that is supportive, that helps them attract more of the good things in life, whether it be their home or their office. And so I use that too, and that helped me a lot.
Wow. So how can our listeners find you then if they want to work with you? This business is called San Diego Office Design, right?
Well, that's the business that I'm
Okay.
most known for, right? But I think probably the easiest way to find me is to Google me. Thank you, Google. Everything Google, right? Um, if you, we have a little introductory sort of landing page, which is about.me/design boss. So if you, again, I'll say it, it's about.me/design boss. If you go to that page, it'll sort of give you a introduction to who I am, how I started the company, and all of the different aspects of what we do. And then there's a button there that says visit my website, or take a quiz to figure out what your interior design style is. Like there's all kinds of things you can do there. So that'd be a good way to find me. Of course, I mentioned that I'm on LinkedIn every day. And so you can find me on LinkedIn by searching my name, which is Tamara Romeo. I think LinkedIn is like linkedin.com/in, and then design boss is my LinkedIn name. So you can see I'm using my brand over and over again, right? As a guide to your audience again about really nailing who they are and what their unique difference is. Of course, they can go directly to sdofficedesign.com too, which is my main website, and it's just filled with pictures and things that are inspiring and our work over the last 12 years. So lots of ways to find me. I have a couple of Instagram pages, but I honestly am not as on Instagram as many other people. I think I'm in a little bit older demographic where for me LinkedIn is more of my jam. But I'm there. You can find me, Google me, and I pop up pretty easily.
If someone were to want to work with you and have an office design, so they would go to your website and maybe contact you through there if they wanted to get started.
Yeah, I actually have a free complimentary
Okay.
20-minute consultation call with anybody that's interested in talking to me about either their home design, their project design, their office design. If they're thinking about, um, renting a new space, moving, shifting the space they have because of what's happened with COVID somehow to really get their team back into the office. I can help with any of that. So, um, do just go to the contact page on my website and feel free to click on the button that says book a free call. And I love talking to people about their projects. So, um, feel free to give me a ring.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And wow, you had a lot of good things to say. I loved hearing about, how you got started and about your business and your niche and how you help people, how you help your clients, um, kind of build that design that, reflects their business and reflects what they would like to feel and see in their space. So that's kind of all the questions I have for you today. I'm glad that you shared how our listeners can contact you. Again, this is Tamara Romeo of San Diego Office Design and um, the boss,
Design boss.
Design Boss. Yep. And
Well, thank you so much, Becky. It's been a
yeah,
pleasure being with you and meeting you, talking to you finally in person.
yeah, definitely. I'm just kind of seeing if there's anything else that I could say. I guess that pretty much sums it up. If you would like to, head over to our website or any of the links, they'll be found in the description below. So that way you can, if you forget something that maybe Tamara has covered, it'll be in that description below. Thanks so much and stay smart.